Greetings, dear viewers. Welcome. Today's poem is Botvinnik Petrosian 1963 and Game 15. This is a poem about the 1963 World Chess Championship match and specifically the Game 15 of this match. To give you the result beforehand, Petrosian won the 1963 World Chess Championship, and Game 15 was very pivotal. It was very important. The win by Petrosian in this particular game that I am going to discuss was very crucial, was very important, mainly because of the fact that Botvinnik had won the previous game. Game 14 was won by Botvinnik, and this was a huge psychological blow to Mikhail Botvinnik. And the other important thing is this was a win sheerly in Petrosian's territory. Petrosian style was in such a way that when he sensed that there was an opponent weakness, he was masterful in converting that small weakness into something very decisive, and that's how he usually won games. And this is a very clear example of that. There are some key moments that I want to take you through, and after that we can get to the poem. The first particular incident, particular moment of the game that I want to take you to is this particular moment where Petrosian enters not so calm waters of the Grunfeld defense. Playing white, he goes for queen b3, and it can be considered as a little sharp, which means that Petrosian was prepared. Game 5 also went in Petrosian's favor when Botvinnik played the Grunfeld, and even in this, it means that Petrosian was trying to come up with certain measures to counter Botvinnik's Grunfeld, and this was a little complicated line. And the next particular position that I want to take you through is this particular maneuver. It is called as the bishop pendulum, when the bishop just goes back and returns to its original position. And Garry Kasparov, when he writes in his My Great Prejudices on Petrosian, says that even the engine approves this particular maneuver, and that just shows how well ahead of time a player Tigran Petrosian was. So this is the bishop maneuver. The bishop is on e3. It just goes to c1 at a particular point. You can just see it here, and then after e5 it comes again to e3, and then after e into f4, bishop into f4. This is very rare, and this is remarkable considering that Petrosian was so much ahead of his time. And the other particular moment that I want to take you through is this particular end game. This is an end game where the queens are off, more or less. It's a late middle game, at least you can say, and Petrosian sensed that there is weakness on e6 and g6. He knew that the g5 square was available, and these kind of assessments was done very nicely by Petrosian, which helped him to win the match. And lastly, one cannot but appreciate the beautiful knight maneuver that Petrosian does. In this, he goes to knight b5, knight d4, comes to knight f5, knows that knight g5 is very crucial, and plants his knight there. Of course, Botvinnik gives up the bishop on h6 for the knight on g5. Nevertheless, Petrosian knew that this is going to be very crucial for his victory. So overall, it was a typical Petrosian style. And let me also tell you that I also checked these moves of the game, and lot of the moves that Petrosian did, especially in the end game, is approved by the engine. He plays at a very high level, which is just remarkable. The engines of this era also approves a player who played in 1963. Okay, then let us get into the poem and see how the game exactly went. A double-edged variation of the Grunfeld defense was analysed and employed. Botvinnik hoped to showcase his splendour against a worthy contender. The ability to sense the weakness of g6 and e6 with such impeccable instincts, which required precise action, showcase the skill of Petrosian. A bishop pendulum, which is usually rare, which invokes no scare, was on the board in its glory, which was an important plot in the story. The precise knight maneuver, after which Petrosian was able to uncover engine-like endgame skills, that was pivotal for his championship title to outplay Botvinnik in the epic battle. The full poem, as usual, is in the description, and I've also given the link for the game in case you are interested to check it out. And if you're made so far in the video and you like the poem, like the video, and then if you're not subscribed to the channel, do consider subscribing. Thanks for your time.